morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzomos, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-growth. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, when it comes to the narcissist, as toxic as they are, or as toxic as they may seem, normally you need to understand something, that the narcissist, they already know your values and they already know your qualities. Eventually, when it comes to dating, when it comes to entanglements with the narcissist, they always identify empaths very easily. It is like they've got this radar which is looking around and they're just detecting empaths. They know the only person that can ever sustain them in those entanglements is those people. They call them the empaths. But you see, an empath comes with a lot of qualities. So the empath, they have got the ability to, number one, endure. They have got a certain ability to endure long periods of pain, because the narcissists, they know subliminally and secretly that they're all about pain, torture, abuse, and manipulation, and all these kind of things. So the narcissists, what they do, they target empaths because they know at some point in time when the entanglement takes off, when the entanglement takes off, the empath has got to have some kind of ability to endure long periods of pain. So that's the reason why narcissists usually they target empaths to be with them in those kind of entanglements and situationships. But you see, because the narcissist is also trying to hide their identity, so they're trying to hide themselves from you finding out about them and who they really are. So normally what they do, the very first thing what they do, they are going to usually make sure that they separate you and eliminate you from your friends and your families. Because remember, you have got friends who know who you really are. You're a very nice person, you're kind, you're empathetic, you're helping, you're this kind of qualities. So they know all these qualities you have, especially also your family. Your family also knows the details of who you really are. So what the narcissist does, first of all, they want to make sure that they secure you and make you their primary source. So what they have to do, they will first of all find out who are your immediate friends. So sometimes you're going to see them, they're going to go around on your social media pages, on your Facebooks. They will see who is liking your pictures, who is validating your photos, who is following you, how many friends do you have, who is your family member, where does your sister live, where does your brother live. So the narcissist, they try always to find out each and every small detail about you. They do some kind of an investigation. So they always want to find out each and everything about you. Who are your immediate friends and who are your family members? So what they do, they now start to poison you against your families. So they will start mentioning things about your family. Oh, you know, I saw your sister on social media. She was doing like that. She doesn't look like a nice person. Your brother was doing this, was doing that. So most of the time, they start to intoxicate you with a lot of stuff about your own family. And most of the times, that's why you find a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse. They usually get very, very far away from their families because they are trying to impress the person that they are assumingly in love with. So they're trying to impress those narcissists. And most of the times, due to the fact that they're trying to impress their lovers or their partners or whatever, now they're going to follow what the narcissist is saying, that when you are involved with that person, I don't like it. When you're involved with your mother, I don't like it. Your auntie, I don't like her. I don't like your sister. I don't like your brother. I don't even like your best friend. So they are going to make sure that they eliminate all the circles around you. So normally, what the narcissists are doing in that case is that they are trying to see a way whereby they can gain full control over you. Because you see, for the narcissist to operate, they have got to have full control, like 100% of your life. Because they believe if there is some kind of influence coming in from the outside, sometimes your mothers are coming around, they're watching them, what they're doing in the house. They think maybe sometimes there is something what is not okay. They may sometimes give you a warning or things like that. I used to experience those situations as well in the early days of the narcissistic account, of course. And I used to wonder why the narcissists usually didn't like my friends, So when your friends pop up, sometimes there's a party going on, or sometimes you invite them for a cup of tea, or for a meal, or for a dinner, or things like that, you will see all of a sudden the narcissist they're going to start frowning. They're going to become grumpy. They don't want to talk. They become, they become very, very agitated whenever they see your friends around, because they have that subliminal feeling that those friends of yours, somewhere somehow, they are going to look into that relationship, and they are going to somewhere somehow find out the individual that you are with in that house, in that home, that person is not good for you. So sometimes they believe those individuals are going to warn you about them, and sometimes you may decide to follow your family or to follow your friend, that, okay, maybe sometimes they are right, I may have to leave this partner or this person because they believe they're not good for me. So the narcissist has got an obligation and a duty to ensure that they secure you as a source of supply, but as they do that, they also make sure they also eliminate you and make sure that they distance you away from your family members and friends. So that's what causes in these entanglements, that's what causes this kind of loneliness, because you are now entangled. You are somewhere alone in the house, entangled with a very, very toxic individual who is now supposed to tell you everything you need to do each and every single day. That's where you need to go. That's the food you need to cook. This is how you need to dress. That's how you need to eat. So they are telling you each and everything what you need to do, because for them it's all about satisfying them and giving them living your life according to their satisfaction. That's why you see a lot of guys, the victims of narcissistic abuse, usually they have complained about the narcissist saying something like they are going to make you that person they want you to be. So normally they know who you are. Apparently, those narcissists, when they meet you, they already know who you are. So what they have to do now is to make sure that they craft you into that human being, that they want you to be. So they have to make sure that you are only going to do the things they want. You are going to behave in a way they want that actually satisfies them. So most of the times, what the narcissist is doing here is like they are actually hiding you from you, because they don't want you to discover who you really are. They don't want you. Sometimes most of the empaths, they're not awakened. So a lot of empaths around the world, they're unawakened. So a lot of empaths who get entangled into those kind of narcissistic relationships in the beginning, most of the time they don't even know who they are. Myself personally, for a very good number of years, I didn't know anything that I was an empath. I did not know anything about empathy. I knew that I was a nice person. I knew, of course, I would always mean well for people and do a lot of good things to the people around me, but I did not know anything about empathy. But the narcissists, they already know you are an empath. So the obligation they have and the duty they have is to hide you from who you are, from your true self. So they want to make sure that they keep you very, very far away from your reality of the person of who you really are. So they start to intoxicate you with a lot of things. Leave your families behind. Stop doing that because it doesn't please me. Stop doing that. This is how you should move. That is how you should sleep. This is the time you should sleep. That is the time you should be at home. So they start to program you and condition you to fit in that situation that is going to actually make them comfortable for abuse, whereby now they can set you up for abuse. Because the narcissist, the only thing they are doing is they are setting you up for abuse. You should never be fooled, ladies and gentlemen, that the narcissist is coming into your life and they are going to come in and, all of a sudden it's going to be peaches and cream. It's going to be very, very wonderful, beautiful, this kind of relationship. The only thing they are doing is they are setting you up for abuse, because for a narcissist to survive, they have got to have some kind of a victim on the other side who is going to continuously keep on providing them with some sort of amount of fuel at some point. So they need it, and that is how they survive, which is also the reason why they usually call them energy vampires, because they have got to somehow feed off of your energy. But for them to be able to feed off of your energy, you have got to be in sleep mode. So you have got to be in that sense, in that state whereby you don't even know who you are. You have already lost your identity. You have already lost your authenticity. And now you're just looking at them and following them and obliging to whatever it is they want to do, whatever it is they want to say. So secretly what they do is like they have got to hide you to keep you away from yourself, because when you're in your authentic self, you will always almost figure out there is something going on in those entanglements. So sometimes you might even sometimes catch up on them. There will be some things they are doing. Most of the time it has happened even sometime along my journey. I've seen most of the times I'm asking the narcissist, why did you do that? What did that mean? Why did you do this? Or why did you say that? And of course, I faced a lot of gaslighting in those days. Oh, you didn't hear properly, or maybe you didn't see it properly. This is not what I did. That is not what I meant. A lot of these crazy making that usually goes on in those kind of entanglements. But the narcissist doesn't want you to know. They don't want you to know, first of all, that you're an empath, and they don't want you to know that you're very important in their lives. So they want you to make sure that you believe that they are the ones who are important. So they want to make themselves to look like the prize. They want you psychologically to believe they are the prize. But secretly, the narcissist, they know that you are the prize. The reason why they are actually very, very interested in getting entangled with you and staying with you for even all those years and long periods of years, that is because they know you are the prize, but they don't want you to know that. The secret, they don't want you to know you are the prize. And they don't even want you to know exactly what you're capable of. So they don't want you to know that you're more capable of better relationships, better life, better health, better love, and whatever it is that comes along with a normal, healthy being. So they don't want you to know that you can do better without them. You know what I mean? So sometimes you see them, they are telling you things like, oh, you know what, it doesn't matter what you do. When you go out there, you know, if you think you can survive on your own, you can go leave the house. Sometimes they will be threatening you to leave the entanglement. Or if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to leave the entanglement. If you don't stop talking to your sister, if you don't stop visiting your families, I'm going to leave, because I don't want you to visit those people. They don't want you to do anything outside of that thing what they've programmed you to be. So the narcissist is crafting you to follow their ways. The narcissist is crafting you to follow their ways. The narcissist is crafting you to bow towards them, because they want in that entanglement, they want to be the masters of everything. So they want you to bow down to them and to show them that they're on the top. You are the one who needs them. It's vice versa, guys. I can guarantee you. I've seen this over the years. I'll tell you something, that the narcissist is actually telling you they are the prize, but secretly they know you are the prize, because they know that the moment you get out of those entanglements, it will be very hard for them to survive. A lot of them, they are going to crumble, they are going to start aging, they are going to go into rage, they are going to go into, they will start even decomposing, because the empath has left their life. In other words, the life support has left their lives. I've told you guys, the empath, you are the narcissist life support. Without you, the narcissist cannot survive. You know what I mean? So as much as they want you to think that they are supposed to be a part of you, for you to be able to move on, because most of the time they're telling you that, hey, listen, I'm doing all these little things for you. It's just because you don't see them, you don't appreciate whatever I'm doing for you. But I am actually helping you a very big deal in your life. And most of the time they want to make you believe it's the truth. But on the other side, guys, I can guarantee you there's something else playing out on the behind the scenes. They're just feeding off of you. They're hiding you from yourself. There was an incident. I think those were the times when I left the narcissist, and then I went into another entanglement with a greater narcissist. So I remember those days. I was not very much into videos. Yes, I used to do a few of them here and there, a little bit, but I was not very much into helping, like on a very big, massive scale. I wasn't really much into helping people. So I'm there with the greater narcissist in those days. Of course, I'm still healing, because I just left like 3 months ago. I just left that long entanglement with the narcissist. So I'm there. I'm looking at my camera. I'm trying to do videos. In that time, we're at home. I'm doing videos. I'm saying, oh, actually, I'm going to do a live feed on my Facebook. Those days I used to use Facebook in those days. I used to do live feeds on Facebook. Believe me, guys, the moment I pushed the play button, and I was talking to, but for me it was more of I was not much into narcissism, narcissistic abuse. I was not very deep into the narcissistic abuse. I was talking about usually relationships, you know, toxic relationships and these kind of things. So I'm there making a video, doing a live. It was a very short one. And believe me, guys, let me tell you something. What the narcissist did, that greater narcissist, the narcissist walked away. They walked away and went in the other room, and they refused to speak with me for the next 30 minutes. And then I'm asking the narcissist, so what is going on? Oh, you know, it is not the right time to do the video. It is not, there was kind of all these kind of little excuses. And then I would later on learn that actually the narcissist in that time, the greater narcissist, was not comfortable for me to speak about narcissism, because of, obviously, when I'm talking about these toxic relationships and the things like that, it is like almost I'm hitting them directly in the face, in front of their face even, you know. So the narcissist was not comfortable, and that situation made the narcissist extremely uncomfortable. And on top of that, the narcissist did not even want me to do videos about those things like relationships and the things like that, because subconsciously they know that actually whenever you're talking about these kind of problems in relationships and toxicity, you're almost talking to them. So they know that actually you are hitting back at them, even sometimes without you even knowing it. So they don't want you to know the power that you hold within. They don't want you to know that actually you can do much more better when you're out of their lives. And it's all an illusion to make you think that you're much more less. They want to make you believe that you're lesser than what you really think you are, what you believe you are. But most of the times, I can guarantee you guys, you're the most powerful ones. You can go higher. You can reach higher. You can reach higher. You can hit higher limits. You can go higher. You can achieve higher, and you can achieve more in life without those individuals. You don't need them for whichever way, any minute, any hour. You do not need them in your lives. You can do better without them. but they don't want you to know that. And that's the reason why I've said in this video, the narcissist is hiding you from you, because there is a you they want to experience in their reality. The you they want to experience is that person they will craft, and they will overturn your identity to fit in their image, because they already know they are toxic. So they want to make you and craft you in a way that you will fit in their identity. Now you can be able to manage their own lifestyle, and now they're hiding you from your authenticity. So they are hiding you from you, whereby they're taking you away from your identity and giving you a new identity, so that now you can identify as somebody else that they want you to become, not the person that you really are, but that person that they want you to be. You know what I mean? So until then, guys, let me know if this video makes sense. Of course, let me know if you have experienced most of the things I've talked about in this video. As well, guys, don't forget, let me know if you need a session with me. You can always find the links in the description section below. You can donate and support this channel if you want to. All the links you need are there. And until then, I'll get back to you in my next one. There's almost signing out. Peace.